If you have 200 shorts, you get stopped out on some.
Yep.
Right? We tend not to get stopped out very much, and the reason we tend not to get stopped out is that our starting position is like 20 bips. We tend to go up very slightly when the market goes down. But the real thing is that when the market goes down, our shorts are going to deliver us a big whack of cash. And that big whack of cash is there to buy Christian Hansen at 3 times revenue rather than 10 times revenue.
Right, but it's not the beta of the shorts, it's when they go under is when you really make the killing. Right? Which is not beta.
Although if I can find longs at will and shorts with some difficulty, then I'm going to, which is not the case at the moment, but if I could, I would run with that, right? If we come to a world where the Christian Hansens, the really fine companies, are trading at 3 times revenue and the crappy companies are all blowing up, then I will take the profits that we made from the shorts in cash and go buy large whacks of longs. And I probably won't replace the shorts because if I can find lots of longs at willingness, the market's going to go up.
So you got stopped out a couple of times last year?
If you have 200 shorts, you get stopped out on some.
Yep.
Right? We tend not to get stopped out very much, and the reason we tend not to get stopped out is that our starting position is like 20 bips, and we're actually tolerant of a short tripling, right? And the ability to just be tolerant of a short tripling means that you don't get stopped out very much.
But you don't add?
We don't add.
Okay.
You can't add at that point, right? Now, if a stock triples and our red flag looks like it was a mistake, we will cover it so fast it's silly. Amarin is my classic example, right? But there's an Amarin most years in our fund. Some of them really annoy me. There was a tiny little one. If any of your readers have ever heard of it, I will be stunned, called Oramed Pharmaceuticals. And Oramed Pharmaceuticals were testing an oral version of insulin. And the oral version of insulin was going to be wrapped in some kind of gelatin. And the first tests were phase 2As, which were safety tests. And of course they passed because it was a protein wrapped in another protein. It's going to be safe. The basic problem is that oral insulin ain't going to work because your gut is going to digest the stuff. The reason why it's given intravenously is that it's got an atomic mass over 130,000. And if your atomic mass is over 130,000 for a protein, your gut has to break it down to get it inside. Right? You might be able to breathe it in, and that's a very marginal thing. There's a long-standing drug promote called Mankind, which was about inhaled insulin.
Right.
But this one was completely bozo. And it turns out that the chief scientist was undisclosed, the mother-in-law of the CEO.
Is that the red flag?
There were 20 red flags.
Oh, okay, there you go.
And we put it on our usual 30 bip position, and then they hyped the successful phase 2A test, and the stock went up 6-fold.
Oh.
We didn't cover it all, but we covered some. We finally took it off, down about 70% from where we originally put it on. 3-4 years later, no, not a happy ending. Because there's no way that we can recover the stuff that we sold, we short sold at $6 and covered at 30. And when it was up 5-fold, we had to cover some, right? We were stopped out, but we were stopped, if you understand. Right. And we kept some position on, but if a stock goes from $10 to 0 via $65, I'm losing money on it. And if you have 200 shorts and you're right about most of them, it turns out that most of the place you lose money is ones that go from $10 to 0 via 60. It happens all the time, right? And if you short 3% positions, and a lot of people do, one of those is going to give you a very bad year.
So this, in terms of hiding in plain sight, are you publicising, or you can't really publicise your situation?
No, we don't publicise our shorts at all.
But I mean, in terms of the story, You're involved in the Twitter sphere on Tesla, for
Yeah,
example.
look,
right?
I'm involved in the Twitter sphere on Tesla because Tesla's the most fun you can have on Wall Street.
Okay, gotcha.
Basically, it's the most fun you can have sitting in a chair.
Steady.
Steady, okay. But, it's really good fun.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just so much volume in terms of people's views. It's so emotive, clearly.
Yeah, look, I mean, the whole idea that Tesla is something between it's going to save the world from greenhouse gases and completely change the way we live
It might blow up the world with those batteries.
to Helig Myers
Yeah, really.
with nothing in between.
That's right. It's pretty
right?
black and white.
Both of those views are way too extreme to be real, is my view.
Yeah.
Right?
Somewhere in between.
Somewhere in between.
And we'll find out more on April the 24th.
We find out more every day.
That's true.
It's like if you wanted to follow Tesla
And do nothing else.
You could do nothing else with your life but follow Tesla.
That's crazy.
One of my staff refers to Tesla as a short seller distributed denial of service attack. It's so spectacular and such a sort of car wreck that every short seller is just like focused on Tesla. And there's all this stuff out there that they're ignoring. Right? And
Much
they're
bigger
ignoring
frauds.
it because Tesla's so goddamn interesting.
And it's big.
It's big, but it's colourful, right? I mean, when Valiant finally blew and they made the Netflix documentary, it was so colourful in the end, it was hysterical. I mean, the idea that a company registered a couple of hundred fake pharmacies so that they could send prescriptions to insurers without the insurer knowing where the prescription came from.
Hiding in plain sight.
And all of those fake pharmacies were named after characters in Stephen King novels.
Right.
Right?
Good one.
I mean, that's bizarre. But Tesla's that bizarre every day.
Absolutely.
Right? It's like,
Well, we'll see.
we'll see, but I don't want to play the Tesla denial of service attack.
Right.
Right? Because there are other things to do with your life other than watch Tesla.
Absolutely.